Well, this week, the Liberals wrapped up their three-day cabinet retreat, highlighting several key policy announcements like housing, immigration, and, of course, Canada-U.S. relations. All the while, Prime Minister Trudeau continues to face questions about his future. Joining me now to discuss is Tom Mulcair. He is our CTV News political commentator and the former leader of the NDP. Good morning, Tom. Good to see you.
Good to be with you, Marcia.
So the Liberal cabinet retreat has ended. A lot of conversation, though, still ongoing about Trudeau's political future. If he'll stay, if he'll go. What do you make of that?
Well, it was not unexpected for Trudeau. He was prepared for it. He knew he'd get a lot of questions about it. They were also anticipating the predictable questions about the comparison to the U.S. situation, where you got rid of someone in the person of Joe Biden, replaced him with Kamala Harris, and all of a sudden, boom, a lot of new energy and a lot of bumps in the polls for the Democrats. So that type of thing was being thrown at Mr. Trudeau. He's steadfast because he has no choice. If he gave even the slightest indication that he was thinking of leaving, of course, he becomes a lame duck and he can't do anything anymore. His cabinet was really strong behind him. They spent a couple of days flailing because it was Groundhog Day. They went back to things that they had already started talking about at last year's retreat, which was housing, the crisis that was caused by the massive increase in the number of Canadians, 6 million people in less than 10 years without any planning for education and health care and housing. So Mr. Trudeau, is certainly his government is to blame for not seeing what that was going to cause. It's difficult for him to come up with an answer with that. He had a good idea, which is to make some federal land available, but Marcia, there's not a single garden shed that's going to be built on any of that land between now and the next election. So it's a very difficult thing for them to sell. At the same time, they were smart. At the end of that cabinet retreat, they started talking big picture. They had our wonderful ambassador to the United States, Kirsten Hillman, in to talk about Canada-U.S. relations. So it was able to change the channel a little bit for them. But now reality is going to set in. He's got to meet with his entire caucus. They're going to be doing that in the Eastern Townships before they return to work in Ottawa. That return to work in Ottawa isn't going to be a big change from last year. I mean, Poilievre you can agree or not agree with his policies or his politics, but boy, is he dominant in question period. And Trudeau hates it. Trudeau tends to read from prepared answers. It's not very convincing. Poilievre is very strong on his feet. He bores right in on Trudeau, and he's got great strength and energy and support from his group around him. So it is starting to be very tough for Justin Trudeau, and those questions, unfortunately for him, are going to continue.